So you're getting ready for an interview in the pharma or biotech world, and you just know GMP is going to be a huge topic. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. Take all that interview stress and flip it into total confidence. All right, let's get into it. And here we go. This is the big one, right? Pretty much every single GMP interview is going to kick off with this question. It sounds basic, but trust me, your answer here really sets the stage for everything that follows. So how do you absolutely nail it? Here's our game plan. First up, we're going to build a super solid foundation. Then we'll dive into the core questions you're basically guaranteed to get. After that, we'll get into some real-world scenarios, and I'll even show you how to frame your answers for the best impact. And finally, we'll wrap up with your final prep. Okay, let's start from square one. Look, a really strong, confident answer to any question always starts with a rock-solid grasp of the basics. You get this part right, and everything else just falls into place. This right here is the core definition you need to know like the back of your hand. GMP is not just a bunch of guidelines, it's a whole system. The magic words you want to remember are consistently and controlled. It's the absolute bedrock of quality in this industry. But you know, what's really going on here is the why behind their question. The interviewer isn't just checking a box. They're trying to see if you get the big picture, that GMP is the backbone of patient safety, product integrity, and of course, staying compliant. They're looking for that quality-first mindset. And this is where you can really show you know your stuff, because this is a super common point of confusion. Just think of it like this. QA is proactive. It's all about designing the system to prevent mistakes in the first place. QC is reactive. It's about testing the final product to catch any mistakes that might have slipped through. Knowing that difference shows a way deeper understanding. All right, our foundation is set. Now let's build on it with the questions that get into the real nitty-gritty. This is all about documentation and process, which, let's be honest, is the heart and soul of GMP. Another classic. You're going to get this one for sure. If GMP is the rulebook, then documentation is the proof. It's the hard evidence that says you did exactly what you were supposed to do, exactly when and how you were supposed to do it. So when you answer, you want to break it down just like this. Documentation gives you traceability. It's the complete story of a product, captured in things like a batch production record. It proves you followed your SOPs. And here's a little pro tip. Mention the industry's move towards electronic records and data integrity. It shows you're thinking ahead. Because at the end of the day, it's all about accountability. In GMP, if you didn't write it down, it never happened. Let's hit another big one. Validation. Interviewers love this topic because it really separates the people who kind of get it from the people who really get it. Validation is all about proving, with evidence, that your process works exactly as you designed it to, time and time again. And why is it so important? Because it's the documented proof that your process is totally reliable and repeatable. You're not just crossing your fingers and hoping for a quality product, you are scientifically guaranteeing it. And don't forget to mention the different types, like process, equipment, and cleaning validation, to really show the depth of your knowledge. Okay, time to shift gears. Knowing all the definitions is one thing, but what interviewers really want to see is if you can apply that knowledge. This next part is all about those scenario questions that test how you think on your feet. This is a huge one. Getting an out-of-specification result, maybe from something like poor hygiene or a piece of equipment that's not calibrated right, it creates a really high-pressure moment. The interviewer wants to see if you can handle that pressure with a calm, logical, and compliant process. Panicking is just not an option here. And here is your 4-step playbook for the perfect answer. Let's say you find a problem with ingredient weights. First, you investigate and document everything right away. Second, you dig deep with a root cause analysis to find out what really went wrong. Third, you implement a CAPA, that's corrective and preventive actions, to fix the problem and make sure it never ever happens again. And of course, you document every single step. This shows you're methodical, you're calm, and you're reliable. So listen. Here's the secret to any scenario question. The interviewer actually cares less about you having one single right answer and way more about your process. They want to see how you think. They're testing your problem-solving skills and your deep commitment to quality. Okay, so we've covered what to say. Now let's talk about how to say it. Because honestly, the way you structure your answers, especially when you're talking about your own experiences, can make a world of difference. So when an interviewer leans in and says, "Tell me about a time when," your secret weapon is something called the STAR method. And this isn't just some boring corporate acronym. It's a fantastic framework for telling a really clear, powerful story that gets right to the point. It's so simple, but so effective. You start with this situation. Just set the scene for them. Then you explain the task. What was your specific goal? Next, and this is the main part of your story, you describe the action you took. And finally, the most important part, share the result. What was the positive outcome? Using this makes sure your answer is complete, compelling, and totally on point every time. All right, we are in the home stretch now. You've got the knowledge, you've got the structure. This last section is all about adding that final layer of polish and showing them the professional qualities that make you the person they have to hire. As you go through the interview, you want to be weaving these qualities into all of your answers. Your story should show off your sharp attention to detail. Your scenarios should highlight your great problem-solving skills. And every single thing you say should echo your deep commitment to quality, which also includes a passion for ongoing training and learning. These aren't just buzzwords. They are what define a true GMP professional. You should definitely expect this question. It's their way of figuring out if you're passionate and proactive about your career. You know, this industry changes fast, and the best people are the ones who are committed to always learning. So you want to be ready with some specific examples. Talk about workshops you've attended, or regulatory updates you've been following. Mentioning things like Lean or Six Sigma shows that you're not just looking for a job. You're actively building a career and investing in your own growth. And really, that's the bottom line here. Mastering this stuff isn't just about acing one interview. It's about embracing the mindset that protects the safety and quality of products that real people depend on every day. It truly makes you a better, more valuable professional. So, as you wrap up your prep, I want to leave you with one last question to really think about. Because at the end of the day, GMP, all the rules, all the procedures, they're all about one thing: the patient. And when you can connect what you do directly to that mission, you're not just answering a question anymore, you're showing your purpose. Good luck.